guys. So today is a little bit of a different setup in my apartment because I was doing yet another Zoom conference, which I guess is everyone's reality and our new normal. And so trying out new set designs in my apartment. I figured since I got dressed, why not go ahead and film an episode? Okay, so this episode, I'm actually nervous and a little, I guess embarrassed to talk about it, but I really am hoping to hear from you, honestly, and maybe get some advice and some tips and some experiences that you've had, because I don't have the answers to this one. Not that I've had the answers to other things we've talked about, but I 100% don't have the answer to this one, and that is dating with MS. Or honestly, any chronic illness for that matter. I am single and have been single during the entire time that I have been diagnosed with MS, which is just approaching 2 years in August. So I've dated kind of casually. There hasn't been anything super serious that has happened, in the past 2 years. And I think that a lot of that had to do with me kind of putting up different walls. I think that to kind of start with what kind of mental space you're in when you are diagnosed with something like MS. We've talked a lot together about the grief and the denial. But then there's also a little bit of a level of shame, if I'm being honest with it. And, that feeling of, are you good enough? There's something wrong with me now. What will this person that I'm engaging with or trying to date, what are they going to think of this? Are they going to run away? Are they going to be afraid? Are they going to ask me questions that maybe I don't have the answer to? And there's just this level of fear for me that really kind of has gotten in my way and held me back from really leaning into any romantic relationships. And I'm someone that I would say, and people have said, I live pretty fearlessly. So this has been a new kind of obstacle and challenge for me. And I wanted to just, as always, be open and transparent with you guys. And hopefully we can kind of help each other with kind of figuring this out. The biggest thing I think that made me kind of clock into the fact that I was afraid of dating with MS was I was with a friend of mine that I had shared that I had MS, that I had recently been diagnosed and that I was still kind of figuring things out. And I have a symptom that sends almost like a shooting pain down my left side that really immobilizes me, and then lasts for anywhere from 30 seconds to about a minute. And I then start to lose feeling. And maybe another 20 seconds after that, I regain feeling, and it's almost like, that kind of episode didn't even really happen. But what I found was MS, as much as we call it an invisible illness, it really can betray you. It's not something, at least my MS, that I can keep a secret and tell when I want. So for instance, today I'm dressed, I put some makeup on, I present really well today. And my hope would be that unless I wanted to share with you that I had MS, you wouldn't know. You could meet me for the first time. We could have a great conversation. I could seem full of energy, and that's it for your impression, of me. But my MS, again, really decides to show itself at really inconvenient times, and maybe when I'm not ready for it to show itself. So whether that's my brain fog, when that kicks in, I sometimes have trouble finding my words in terms of speaking clearly. And then again, these episodes that I wind up having. And when I realized that these episodes could just kind of happen without any warning, it made me, and still makes me, incredibly self-conscious. So my thought is, okay, I meet a guy and I like him. We hit it off. When do I tell him that I have an incurable chronic disease? When does that like fit into the conversation? And it's, something that to me, I feel like is very private. It's a very vulnerable thing to share. And it's not something that I necessarily want to broadcast in the first encounter that I'm having with someone. And my fear is, what if I don't say anything and then we're out on a date and I start to, have hand tremors and I drop my wine glass, or I wind up having this full-on episode and he has no idea what's going on and things escalate even more. And so all of these things, all of these worst case scenarios, all of these fears and embarrassment and shame run through my head over and over, and really had me just kind of use the cop out of, there's so much else that's going on with me. I'm still trying to figure out my disease. I'm still trying to get used to all of this. So dating just isn't a priority for me. And I really kind of hid under that, umbrella of denial and avoidance for quite some time. It really, I would say, was a full year. It wasn't until I was faced with my fertility struggles, which I shared with you guys in episode 2, that I realized how important it was to me to have a family and to have a person, my person. And I really now am just kind of trying to focus my energy and my thoughts into getting over this obstacle, this mental obstacle that I have, that I'm, no longer good enough, or that there's something that's wrong with me and that it's something I have to apologize for or make an explanation for, when I'm sharing with someone that I'm romantically interested in, that I have this disease. And this channel has really helped me, because this is my kind of, coming out, letting the world know that I have MS. I very much live my life, in public spaces. My businesses are very much run on social media and articles and panels and speaking engagements. And so it's really something where, when I decided to start to detail my journey with MS and share it, with all of you, it was a big step for me, because to me, it was kind of like a first step in not being this secret keeper and not apologizing for the fact that, I sometimes have episodes. I sometimes have tremors. I might break a glass. It might happen at a restaurant. It'll pass in under 2 minutes and we'll continue, with the evening. It doesn't have to be, more than that. And so I'm really interested in having a conversation with you guys in the comments, or when some of you guys DM me on my Instagram, about how you've gotten over some of those hurdles and what you're really looking for in a partner. I've seen a lot of the kind of OG MSers that I follow and am friends with. A lot of them are married or have a significant other or a life partner. And a lot of them have said that that wasn't always the case, that, they were really living alone, having to take care of themselves before they met their partner. And I had asked a lot of them, like, how was that? Like, how did that work at those kind of beginning stages? And so many of them shared with me that it really wasn't as big of a deal as I, was making it, that we all have issues, hangups, whether that's family baggage, whether that's emotional baggage, whether that's having children from another relationship that you're bringing into, your new relationship. Everyone's kind of bringing in something, and don't use the word baggage with that kind of negative connotation. It's just, we've lived lives. I'm about to be 37. I've got some stuff that I'm bringing with me, into any relationships that I have. And so they really just kind of told me to kind of come off that ledge and just be myself and be honest and be as transparent as I want to be, as much as I feel that person, deserves. It doesn't mean that if I meet someone today that I have to give them my full medical history, on our first date, but I can just simply say, like, I have multiple sclerosis. Not sure if you've heard of it, but sometimes I can have really short, small episodes. It's not anything to be alarmed by. It's usually when I get overheated. And, if that happens, I might just need you to get me some ice. And leave it at that. And share what I want to share when I want to share it. And that was really something that resounded to me. And I'm hoping that for any of you that are struggling with or thinking about what do I say, when do I say it, and, how do I date, with MS, it was huge for me and it's been really helpful. And so I, of course, as soon as I decided that I worked up the courage, I've now got brain surgery out of the way, I'm ready to date, we have a pandemic. So I know that a lot of folks have been doing online dating. I have a few friends that have done that. I haven't quite been open to venturing into that. I feel like I would like to just kind of meet someone out in the world, but who knows when we will be out in the world. But I think the biggest kind of message that I wanted to share with this is I don't think that we talk enough about some of the shame that we carry when holding this disease. And there's a lot of focus on the grief and the denial and how to live your best life and quality of life and self-care. That's talked about a lot, but I really think it's this unspoken issue that so many of us are carrying, especially women with chronic illnesses, specifically MS, that for some reason we feel like this is something that we've done or that we played a part in how we got here to this place with this diagnosis. And so when we're sharing it with people, it's with that kind of note of embarrassment. And I just want you to know that if you're feeling that, I don't want you to feel alone in that. I want you to feel validated in that. I want you to know that it's something that I struggle with every day, but that this isn't your fault. It's not something you have to apologize for. It's not something that deserves pity. It's not something that someone has to decide or weigh on if they want to have you in their life, because of it. We hold so much more. There's so much more to us than our MS. And I know that there's so much more that I bring to all of my relationships. And I know that I am going to be an amazing mother. I know that I'm going to be an amazing wife. And I just might have some obstacles and some roadblocks that slow me down, but it's not something where I'm ever going to really stop. And so I just want you to kind of take that with you as you're thinking about opening up, being vulnerable. I know that we're all afraid of rejection, healthy people as well, when it comes to dating, and to not take any of those disappointments and escalate them into your mind that it's because you're not good enough or that it's because of this disease, that you weren't worthy to be in that particular relationship. So, more to come on this. Again, I am still extremely single, but I plan on changing that, and I can't wait to keep you updated. And stay safe and give me some stories so I can live vicariously through you. Put it in the comments, DM me, make sure to subscribe, and stay safe. Talk to you guys soon.